For joining us here on 23 ABC News, I'm your senior reporter, Veronica Morley. Rapid rehousing is just one of the ways that California and Bakersfield are addressing our homelessness crisis. Last year, the Open Door Network placed 831 households in new homes through rapid rehousing. The program isn't a permanent solution, but it can help those experiencing or in danger of homelessness by providing up to 2 years of rental support. However, while the goal of rapid rehousing is to get people into homes, sometimes using housing assistance can work against someone. One Bakersfield woman was allegedly refused an apartment after she said that her entire rental payment would be coming through housing assistance. Now the state Civil Rights Department is taking the matter to court. I sat down with CEO of the Open Door Network, Lauren Skidmore, to learn more about the intricacies of this issue.
I think as a landlord, there's always a concern with these type of funding sources.
Lauren Skidmore says when it comes to getting someone into affordable housing, it's not always easy when housing assistance is in play.
It really can be an uncertain situation for them to enter into because it is not meant to be ongoing.
Skidmore said at the Open Door Network, they work with landlords to get their clients into housing, but some landlords are wary to accept assistance from the program. This was the case in a lawsuit from the state against a Bakersfield property owner, Babby Kurian. In the lawsuit, the state alleges that in 2022, a single mother working as a substitute aide for the Bakersfield City School District went through the Open Door Network's rapid rehousing program, applying for an apartment owned by Kurian. When she told him that her rental payment would be entirely covered by the program, according to the lawsuit, Kurian allegedly said, "I'm not going to deal with those programs." The lawsuit states it took her another 5 months after being rejected to find housing.
It's really problematic when we have a landlord that doesn't want to take in our clients because then we have nowhere else for them to go. They stay in the homeless system longer, they become more irritable, they become more problematic in the system.
I reached out to Kurian over the phone, who didn't want to comment but did tell me that he plans to handle this issue in court. The lawsuit stated that testing conducted by the Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance found that on at least 3 occasions, Kurian denied a tester applicant after they disclosed that they receive rental assistance.
We pay directly to the landlord, so there's an automatic assurance that you're going to get that rental payment.
Skidmore said some landlords who are hesitant may have had a bad experience with a rental assistance program in the past, but ultimately the program works to not only get someone into housing, but to ensure that they have the means to maintain their situation.
It's always our goal to make sure that landlords aren't left with the situation where they feel like they have to legally evict somebody or they have to, punish somebody for not being able to pay their rent.
She said if it seems like the client isn't going to be able to sustain the housing, they'll transition them out and into a more long-term solution. But that isn't helpful to landlords as that leaves them with an empty unit. Even when the program is successful, Skidmore said funding from the state isn't always reliable.
We don't have a say when California budgets or federal budgets end programs that support these individuals.
Though these challenges impact the Open Door Network and their clients, more often than not, Skidmore said they find rapid rehousing a successful method to not only getting someone out of homelessness, but also keeping others from entering it. That's why they work to incentivize landlords to take part.
It might look like double deposit, 3 months rent paid at once. Sometimes we will support clients in making sure their arrears are paid for, whether it's old utility bills or old rental payments.
The state brought forth this lawsuit citing Senate Bill 329, which expanded the definition of source of income to include rental assistance. We reached out to the state for further comment, but they declined to do so. In Bakersfield, I'm your senior reporter, Veronica Morley.